Tonight, we are going to witness the most anticipated match for the heavyweight championship of the world. Are you ready? Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey there everybody, and welcome back to the vlog on one of the windiest days that we've had in a while. It's like 30-mile-an-hour winds right now. We are here in Deer Lake, Pennsylvania, checking out Fighters Heaven, which of course is Muhammad Ali's private camp. I'm super excited about this because I've passed by so many times, and it's cool to knock this off my bucket list and finally see it. Muhammad Ali was a great guy, and he was a wonderful boxer. Honestly, probably legendary would be the correct word, but he was also a legendary humanitarian. So being able to see a snapshot of his life where he found solace up here is going to be really, really cool. Thank you to Fighters Heaven for giving me this private tour. I'm really excited. They're currently closed for the season, which is why it's a private tour, and they normally open around April, so if you're thinking of going, that'd be the time to do it. But I'm really excited to be walking around, and there's a whole bunch of boulders that are around as well that have some of the influential people that he has boxed, and so you'll see a bunch of names here, and it's just really cool. Most of the stuff that we're going to see today is recreated. There's so many Muhammad Ali museums throughout the world, and all of his stuff went everywhere. I know there's one in Louisville, Kentucky. That's a huge one. We might be down in Kentucky later this year. I'm thinking maybe, but that's a really cool one. So I'd love to go there someday. But this is where he practiced and sparred and everything. Man, I'm so excited. Let's just go, okay? Are you guys ready? Because I'm ready. Man, look how incredible this is. Again, sorry about any wind noise, but we're going to try our best here. Oh my gosh, this looks great. Oh, look, it's Joe Frazier over there. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Man, and it looks even like an old log cabin. Probably because it is, but you know. Hey, it's Rocky Marciano. Boy, let me tell you, when they say it's windy up here, it is sure windy. Whew. Hi.
Hi everyone, welcome to Fighters Heaven. My name is Mick Stefanik, General Manager here at the camp, and I would like to just take some time to walk you through what we have going on here in the gym. I'm standing in Muhammad Ali's gym, talking to you now, and when the camp was built in 1972, Muhammad Ali was living in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, so not too far away from here. This gentleman here with the eye patch, Bernie Pollock, he invited Muhammad Ali to train on his mink farm 3 miles down the road in Deer Lake. That's what got Ali here to set up this camp. And then later, after training down on the mink farm, he bought this land where the camp currently sits from Bernie Pollock. So the Pollocks had owned this land before Muhammad Ali decided to build his camp here. And there was nothing here. You're going to see quite a few different buildings throughout the grounds. But all of it was built from scratch through Ali's creation and Ali's vision. As we're walking along, you're going to see some great quotes of Muhammad Ali. A lot of people call him a quote machine. Some funny and some very serious that have some really, really deep life meanings, I should say. This collection of photos here just shows some of the areas of the grounds. There's also one photo here of Muhammad Ali with the Beatles. Before Muhammad Ali came here, he trained in Miami Beach, and that photo of him with the Beatles was taken while he was training down in Miami Beach.
Never knew that he met the Beatles. That's crazy.
Yes, pretty interesting tidbit. So Muhammad Ali was training in Miami Beach before coming here, and what got him to come to this part of the country, this part of northeastern Pennsylvania, is that while training in Miami Beach, he felt that he hit a period where he wasn't training well. Big city distractions, and his focus wasn't the greatest, and he was going into the ring not in his best shape. So he gets invited to train down on the Pollock mink farm, and as they say, the rest is history. You'll see this photo here is with him with his wife Belinda, who he was married to from the mid-60s to the mid-70s, standing here in the ring, actually sweeping his own floor. This photo here shows kind of the progression of the camp. When the camp was built, it was a process. The side of the road we're on now with the gym and the kitchen and his cabin went up in 1972 or so. And then the other side of the road started to take shape in 1974. Currently in this photo, if there was a current or modern day picture, you would see cabins up here. And those cabins were where his staff and overnight guests would stay. Here is a fireplace standing out front outside near the fireplace, and you'll be seeing the fireplace later on. Behind Ali here is the gym which I'm standing in now. The fireplace in this photo is located, it would be right about here in this photo. This trailer, which is no longer here at the camp, it was brought up while the camp was being built early on to stay in. That was down at the mink farm that Ali used while there, and then he brought it up when the camp was being built. Another great quote about preparation. Mike Tyson, big Ali fan, big Ali fan. Here is Ali with his trainer, Angelo Dundee. And Ali idolized and really looked up to Sugar Ray Robinson, who was a fighter a little before Ali's time. An interesting, another tidbit, the camp is currently owned by this guy here who passed away a few years ago, John Madden, his son. So the camp is now currently in the hands of the Madden family. And Mike, his son, bought it with the sole purpose of preserving it and turning it into a museum-like structure or museum-like facility where people could come and get the feel and the essence of what it was like when Muhammad Ali was here training. It's free and open, it's open to the public. There's no admission price. If people would like to give a donation, they can give a donation, but those donations don't go to the camp. They go to the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville, Kentucky, the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, which Muhammad Ali also suffered from. And then also here nearby an organization known as Avenues that works with people with disabilities. So Ali was a kind, generous person. We want to keep that spirit alive of Muhammad Ali here at the camp, not just physically, but also with the kind of guy that Muhammad Ali was. As we continue walking along, you'll see some other photos of Muhammad Ali at the camp and in the area. Another really great quote here that people tune into, life meaning, hating people because of their color is wrong. It doesn't matter which color does the hating, it's just plain wrong. Muhammad Ali's family was mom, dad, and a brother, Rahman. Rahman is still living. He was a year or so younger than Muhammad Ali. Here's some other action photos. Muhammad Ali fighting one of his big fights called the Rumble in the Jungle against this guy here, George Foreman. Muhammad Ali went into that fight. It was held over in Zaire, Africa. It was fought at about 4 o'clock in the morning. And Muhammad Ali was expected to lose this fight. And he ends up beating George Foreman using a strategy called the rope-a-dope, which kind of laying along the ropes and George Foreman tiring himself out for throwing so many punches. And it was successful, and Ali eventually knocks him out and beats George Foreman. Larry Holmes was a sparring partner of Muhammad Ali early on in the mid-70s, and then he later went on to become the heavyweight champion after Muhammad Ali. This is a picture of Muhammad Ali's aunt, Coretta, who did the cooking for Muhammad Ali early on. These two guys had a great relationship, the king of boxing and the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley and Muhammad Ali. This photo here shows what it would be like, typical day of Muhammad Ali working out and sparring in the gym. People would just come in, sit around the ring on three areas where, three sides of the ring where they would watch him spar, work out, and entertain.
They would just walk in.
They would just walk in. Yeah, back then it was free also, so that's part of why it's free now.
And they weren't worried about security or anything?
No, it was a pretty different kind of times. Yeah, there was no security really. He was very interactive with the crowd, and he was just a very, very outgoing guy and loved to be around people and loved the people that came to see him anywhere he was around the world. This is a great photo here. This is in 1996. It's the Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. And Muhammad Ali comes out to begin the Olympics by lighting the torch, and nobody knew who was coming out to light the torch that year. and it was Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali was really shaking because at that time he was suffering from Parkinson's disease, and it was gradually taking over his body.
And was it known at that time that he had Parkinson's, at least publicly?
Yes, yes. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's officially probably about 10 years earlier or so. There were signs that he was showing it in the early 80s.
Huh.
Over here, it's a collection of photos. One of his big opponents, big nemesis, Joe Frazier. Photo here of Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, and that is Bernie Pollock. Great quote. And then just some photos of Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. There is the most famous quote probably of Muhammad Ali that everybody knows, especially the first part, float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And then the rest of it, a lot of times, is a learning moment for folks when they get here. His hands can't hit what his eyes can't see. This is a really nice photo of Jeff Julians, who is our camp photographer and who is our PR and public relations guys. He does a lot with our promotions and getting the word out about the camp. I had mentioned about quotes that are kind of life meaning. This one here sums it up. The man who views the world the same at 50 as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years of his life. And then here's just another collection of photos of Ali here in the gym working out. This is an interesting photo because these two are going to be fighting. This was done in the fall of 1972. The guy hitting the speed bag is Floyd Patterson. This was in August of that year. The two of them were going to fight in September of that year. This is a non-camp related photo, but there he is with playing records in his car, which is a photo that not many people have ever seen.
And this one right here, this was taken, what, about like right here?
Yeah,
maybe?
So this window that Ali is peering in is this window here.
Huh.
And then these posts that you see were added for reinforcement with the restoration of the camp. But the speed bag that you see Floyd Patterson hitting in that photo would be right about here.
When was the last time that he used the camp?
The last time that he used the camp, he trained here basically up until the end of his career in 1981. He trained for most of his fights here. He didn't train for all of his fights here. By the majority of them, he came here and trained. One interesting one in 1978, he's upset by a guy, Leon Spinks. It was a big upset. And Ali didn't train here at that time because that fight was in February of 1978, and his daughter, Layla, who went on to become a well-known woman boxer, was born in December of that year. So he wanted to be nearby down in Miami. And then the two of them fight again in September of 78, and Ali comes back and beats him, and he becomes champion for a third time, which had never happened before. He was the first boxer to become a champion 3 times. As we're walking along here, we're going to head into what was called his rub-down room or his locker room. And it was called his rub-down room because of a massage table being in here. And this has been recreated to give you the look and the feel. And again, just some photos here of Ali on the couch. That was here at the time. The guy on the phone is his trainer, Angelo Dundee. And then just some other photos here kind of show what it's all about and why it looks the way it does.
Wow.
I had mentioned Leon Spinks earlier. Over here, written above the scale, is what he weighed 1 month previous of his second fight or his rematch with Leon Spinks. So this is August 8th of 1978. They fought in September of 1978. And then just a couple photos here that we talk about with the visitors. There are benches similar to these that are recreated. People are amazed that now there are trees out here. But back then, it was kind of a clear shot over to the local town, nearby town, Warwicksburg. And part of that reason was Muhammad Ali chopped down hundreds and hundreds of trees when he was here working out because there was no weight room here. What he did to get in shape and stay in shape was chop trees. And he ran every morning. He would get up and run at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Now, I know you said that the ring and the bag aren't the same from when he was here.
Correct.
But they're close to the same?
Yes, the bag that's hanging from the ceiling here is roughly where the bag hung. The actual original hooks is this one here.
Ah.
And then the other one that hung is from right up here where you can see the marking.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason that the heavy bag is placed there is just because of groups and tours that there's no kind of obstruction And then the ring, yes, the ring is roughly where the ring was. This is a smaller version of the ring. It's probably, it's about 2/3 the size of a ring that we would see on TV.
Does the bell work?
The bell does work. So we can give it a couple of rings and ring it once and ring it twice.
That's so cool. Man. And that's, of course, back before everything was electronic, you know.
Yes, absolutely. That's definitely old school style.
And this floor is, I mean, it feels sort of old, but this is like authentic floor, correct?
This is actually the floor that he did his jumping rope, hitting the heavy bag, doing the shadow box.
Oh yeah, there's a picture of him jumping rope. And this is a new mirror, right? This isn't the same mirror.
Yep, it's located where the mirror was roughly.
Gotcha.
But it is a new mirror, you are correct. And then an interesting point or an interesting feature that has been done that people tune into is you notice the Life magazine covers up above the mirror back then.
Oh.
There are replicas or matches to the ones.
Oh, look at that. You guys got the same ones.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man, this room alone is really impressive. Just the detail that went into it. Because it's hard, you know. I said that there's Muhammad Ali museums everywhere. You know, they're all over the world. The biggest, of course, Louisville. But like, the stuff had to go everywhere. Like, it wasn't just going to stay in one spot. So it's hard to get your hands on like authentic stuff.
Right, and part of the reasoning to not have anything authentic here is when people come and visit and tour, there's a lot of freedom built in. So we don't want to kind of be worrying about something happening. And when somebody asks us, is that real or is that the original, that says enough that people even have to ask if it's real or if it's the original, just the work that's been done here. And this was truly a labor of love for Mike Madden. His sole purpose in the beginning was just to preserve it. He really didn't have any kind of game plan in mind. And now what it's become is mainly, and a big part of the mission statement is to get kids here. And the mission statement of the camp is to remind some folks like myself, the age group, and educate others about Muhammad Ali and the life of Muhammad Ali, which means our youngsters. Because you say Muhammad Ali to young kids, even college kids, 20-year-olds, there's not that connection. So we're here to try to get certain generations to know and appreciate what Muhammad Ali was all about and what he stood for, and not really even about what was done in the ring. He did so much more outside the ring.
And that's really cool. Also, the robe.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I was like, whoa, it's so cool.
Yeah, so here, this photo kind of sums up or shows you why it's set up that way. So the door is here, and then there was a robe, and then there was a scale. And then you could kind of still see where the shelving ran along the wall.
What, you guys couldn't find the hideous curtains?
No.
That's from the 70s and 80s right there. That sort of floral printing, yeah. But the couch is cool as well as the phone and everything. So I like before and after stuff. So seeing this and like seeing the dedication is really cool to me, at least. Like seeing, oh, that's the window, you know, and that's the mirror. That stuff's really cool.
Yeah, and one of the main things that people take away from this is that they just get the feel of what it was like when Muhammad Ali was here.
All right, where are we heading next?
Okay, we're going to head over to the kitchen here. On this side of the gym, he had his own kitchen built, which was not only for eating, but also socializing. They would hang out a lot here, even when it was not a mealtime, whether it would be breakfast, lunch, or dinner. I had mentioned earlier, we talked about the fireplace. There is the fireplace, and then behind it you see all kinds of trees.
And those weren't there on that picture.
Correct.
Yeah.
All these trees have grown in over time, and there were no trees. You could see straight over to the next valley. It was a great view.
Wow.
So as we enter into the kitchen, you're going to see a big table, and it is the original table that Muhammad Ali, his staff, and others ate at. And I say others because there are so many stories of Muhammad Ali inviting visitors in to have whatever time it was, breakfast, lunch, or dinner. He was just that accommodating and that accessible, which is unheard of nowadays with our sports celebrities and how they go about things. Just to show you the table, and Ali and his staff gathered around, this photo here shows him, gives you a good idea of the table and what it was like there. To the left on that picture is Larry Holmes. We talked about Larry Holmes earlier. There he is, a young Larry Holmes, be here as a sparring partner.
Wow.
And then going on to have his own championship career. The rules of my kitchen. They were not Muhammad Ali's, but this woman here is Aunt Coretta. She cooked for him in the beginning, and there is Aunt Coretta preparing a meal. And then the gas stove over there in the corner is original. So there are some original items in here. We have the table, we have the stove, and then in that picture where you see Aunt Coretta preparing a meal, she is right where I'm headed now.
Oh.
So she is right over here.
The prep table.
Preparing the meal.
Wow.
And then as you read the rules and people go over the rules, they get a chuckle and a laugh about the rules.
Yeah.
And there is Muhammad Ali coming in.
Man, that was weird.
Door open. He's with us. He's approving, and he likes what's going on here today.
Oh, good.
But the rules, for example, I like to point out number 4, what goes into stews and soups is nobody's damn business. And then the spelling, we're not totally sure about the spelling as far as E's at the end of the words. We've been told probably some sort of southern dialect.
That's interesting.
When Muhammad Ali was here training, one of the reasons he loved it here is because getting away from the distractions of Miami Beach, he was able to just run the country roads. He would run out where the cows were hanging out, and people were amazed of what he was wearing on his feet when he ran. He didn't run in sneakers. He ran in military style boots. Kind of the type that's right over there on the floor in the corner.
Oh, wow. Is there a reason for it?
The reason is they're heavier, so they would help with building up his leg strength.
Which was important,
Yeah,
I would
very
imagine.
important. And then over here is just a collection of photos. After Aunt Coretta, this woman here, Lana Shabazz, did the cooking for Muhammad Ali. And then you will notice that after Aunt Coretta was no longer cooking, there's no longer rules of my kitchen. Instead, there are different kind of fake newspaper headlines.
Huh.
Muhammad Ali loved to do tricks and magic shows, and here he is in a picture doing a card trick. He really liked to entertain.
Never knew that.
Especially kids and children. And this is a cool photo, or a nice photo that shows you not just his staff hanging out, but others that he invited in. You can see some youngsters and having a meal right at the table we had looked at earlier.
Wow.
And then over here, pretty cool photo of Aunt Coretta. Again, there's the gas stove. There's the prep area. A couple meals, or a couple recipes that Aunt Coretta had. Poached fish, southern cornbread. And many people have taken pictures and tried them. More so the cornbread they'd left with
I'm
the
sure.
poached fish. And haven't heard how it turned out, but many people have left here and tried it.
Hold on, let me steal this real quick. These are the re-releases that they did a couple of years ago, right?
Yes, these are from 2022. It's a collection of different photos, different pictures of Muhammad Ali. And then the Wheaties boxes. All of this was donated from a fan and a volunteer here at the camp who comes up and helps us with our tours. And interesting, this one is the same. It's just the front and back. It's from 2022. Now they get a little dated. This one here is from January of 2013. And then this one is working on 26 years.
Oh my goodness.
1999.
So it's probably not good anymore.
Well, there's something in there.
Yeah, right. That's so cool.
And then another cool photo of them having a good old steak dinner at the kitchen table with the rules.
How often, like how long was he here when he was training? Was it just like nonstop, or did he come down here for a month, or was he like the opposite of a snowbird sort of situation?
Yeah, back then, boxers fought a few times a year. It was much different than it is nowadays, and his training sessions would vary. Sometimes he was here for months for the Rumble in the Jungle, the Thrill in Manila. He'd be here for a few months, 3 months or so. And then for other fights, he could be anywhere from 6-7 weeks in that area. So it varied based on how much training or how much prep work he did for that upcoming fight. So what we're looking at now is a newsletter that goes out every so often. There is Larry Holmes on a visit earlier. We had a time capsule placed at the camp that's scheduled to be opened in 2072.
I'll try and make
We'll
it.
see
I'm going to try my
goes.
best.
But a big mission, or the mission of the camp, is to have things like this happening, visits like this happening, days like this happening. We have all kinds of different school groups, youth groups, boxing clubs that come and visit. It's just a collection of so many different kind of groups. We're trying to get them to know what Muhammad Ali was all about.
And that was a passion of his. That's the reason that you guys, like, he cared about the kids groups and doing that.
And family, many of his family have been back. His twin daughters, Rashida and Jamila, were just here. Miriam was here a few times. She was just here the other day. Muhammad Ali Jr. has been here.
Wow.
The reason I mention that is all of them have said in one way, shape, or form that Muhammad Ali, the daddy, as they called him, would be happy and is happy about what's going on here nowadays.
That's awesome. It must feel good to get that validation as well.
Yeah, it is. It's really rewarding to see what's going on here and to see that, or to see the experiences of the kids while they're here, you know. And the family, one of the other hopes of Mike Madden when he bought this was that the family would appreciate what has been done here. So that's been a knockout. That's been a grand slam. So 2 goals were, 1, to save and preserve, restore the camp, and also get the kind of reaction that the camp has gotten from the family of what it was like then, what it's like now. Rashid and Jamila weren't here for 50 years. So when they came back, it had been about 50 years
Wow.
since they had been here. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're headed over to Muhammad Ali's cabin, and from the outside you'll notice it's not a log cabin. This was made out of an old railroad bridge, and Ali's going to talk about it in a video that's shown in his cabin.
All right.
The last buildings to point out that we point out during tours are up there on the hill, and they were the bunkhouses, and that's where his sparring partners stayed. So his sparring partners are the guys that came in and stepped in the ring and got in the ring to help him train for his upcoming fight, stayed up there. Muhammad Ali stayed in this building here. There are cabins across the road. There are 8 little cabins where his staff and overnight guests would stay. And then out front of the camp was a building called the Chalet where his family would stay. One of the things Muhammad Ali also liked was being in nature. Fresh air, you know, running the country roads. Water came from a well. You'll see this well pump outside here, and you're also going to see in his cabin early on and throughout he had a water pump. So in his cabin early on and in the beginning there was no running water and he had no electricity.
Oh.
So he really wanted to get back to basics because he felt training in Miami Beach wasn't being effective and he wasn't getting in his best shape. So as you look around his cabin, you're going to see the water pump that I mentioned earlier. A collection of old dishes. Got away from all the luxuries that he was living with down in Miami Beach. So Ali went from staying in beautiful hotel rooms and suites in Miami Beach to staying like what you see here in this cabin. When people come and visit, they'll watch a video, a 4-minute video of him being interviewed by Dick Cavett, talk show guy from the 70s, and Ali is in this cabin talking about items similar to these, from a rope bed to a table over there. Looks like a half a tree.
Yeah.
There was a pheasant on the table, and then he had oil lamps, and you can see there are some different oil lamps throughout the cabin. The heat source was the fireplace and a coal stove. And over here was the sink area. Very basic, very Spartan-like, and it's the way that Muhammad Ali wanted it. The bed, old-fashioned rope bed. And then there's a couple photos of them here. One of them sitting on the bed, another one of them laying across the bed. Again, as you look at this picture, you're going to see the cannon, the chest, the bed, the night table.
Wow. This is really, really cool.
Yeah, and then over here, Jeff Julian was able to put together just a few of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of fan mail that was sent to the camp, and people get a laugh and a chuckle of how it is addressed. It's not too very, very bare bones and basic.
Yeah, right.
Muhammad Ali, care of Deer Lake Training Camp, Pennsylvania, USA.
They just assumed that it would get there.
Mr. Muhammad Ali, Deer Lake Training Camp, Pennsylvania, USA.
Oh my gosh. And this clock is really old too. Oh my goodness.
Yep, yep.
It almost looks like it's painted on, which you don't see very often. Huh. Now, was there a bathroom here?
Yes, this was set up as a
Wow.
very simple bathroom commode toilet, and from what we've been told, it had a flushing system, pump-like flushing system.
Jeez.
That was set up in that little.
Talk about old school.
Yeah, very much old school. A lot of people guessed that it was a closet of some sort, but no, there was a toilet in here set up for him to use.
So where was the shower? Was it next to the rub room or?
The shower setup was in the gym. So,
Okay.
In between his rub down room and what is now an office, the office was the sparring partner's locker room, and then in between those two locker rooms was a shower and bathroom.
Gotcha.
setup.
Okay. Cool. Man, you guys really preserved this well.
Yeah, right.
Oh, look at that. There he is.
So one of the neat things that people enjoy doing is, as they look at the pictures of Muhammad Ali here in his cabin, they like to put themselves in the same spot. So people, you see him sitting on the bed there, they'll come over here and sit on the bed and kind of recreate that look. And then a lot of them like to do side-by-sides on their social media.
And because it's not the bed, you can do that.
Yes,
So,
exactly right. So
okay.
we encourage people to do that and to put themselves in the same spot that they see Muhammad Ali in. And that is also done in some other buildings, especially over, well, the other one would be over in his rub-down room where he's on the phone.
Nice.
And then another big one is the one over here in the rocking chair. We adjust this rocking chair, kind of depending on how long the person's right leg is. They like to sit down in it, strike a pose, and go from there.
You know what? I'm going to do it.
All right. Let's do this. So how did he have it? How was his leg up?
So they would put the right leg, yep, there you go, hands
Yes.
behind your head, yep, and then just look straight ahead. So there's the
Feels
look.
good.
There's
I
the
feel
look.
like I could, box somebody.
There you go. Yep, yep.
Now, the stones that are around, those are for people that he respected, right? People that he fought or just anybody?
Sure. So the boulders are lined up, and the names on the boulders, which the boulders were painted by his father. So the names are all people Muhammad Ali admired and respected. A few of them here: Floyd Patterson, Jack Johnson, Jersey Joe Walcott. Interesting point about Jack Johnson. That's a huge chunk of anthracite coal. So that is not stone. Jack Johnson being the first black heavyweight champion.
Wow.
Muhammad Ali wanted to honor him in an own kind of special way. You'll see the different names of the boxers on the different boulders, and then there are two non-boxers, one being his trainer, Angelo Dundee, and the other one being the guy that invited him to his mink farm, Bernie Pollock, and then who also, or later, sold the land to him. So Bernie Pollock is on a boulder due to him inviting Muhammad Ali to train in this area, and then later selling him this land. And then Ali's trainer, Angelo Dundee, is also on one of the boulders.
Is there a favorite rock that you have when you're giving tours, or?
I like the Jack Johnson boulder.
Yeah.
I just think the story behind that is really, really cool.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure Muhammad Ali didn't realize how easy it was going to be to find coal around here.
Right. Yeah, good point. And they are different boxers, and there are different eras and different time frames. But Ali did fight some of them. For example, he did fight Floyd Patterson. That is Floyd Patterson, who was hitting the speed bag when Ali was poking his head through the window.
Wow.
Picture footage, yeah. Some other boxers, Graziano, he did not fight. He did fight Archie Moore. He did not fight Rocky Marciano. And then we have the Dundee boulder. And the painting on the boulders can be traced back to his time being out at Archie Moore's salt mine.
Oh, okay.
Early on, Ali was being trained and mentored by Archie Moore, and then he decided no longer to stick with Archie Moore. But while being out at Archie Moore's training camp, which was given the nickname Salt Mine, Archie had boulders with paintings on it. So Ollie took that idea with him when he decided to build this camp.
Wow. I never knew. I always assumed he just thought of it himself.
Yeah. No, that's actually from his time with Archie Moore. Recognitions that have happened somewhat recently is that the state of Pennsylvania has now recognized the camp as being a historical place.
Oh.
That was placed here at the camp in the summer of 2023, and then also the camp has now been listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, very neat recognitions and observations. And then over here, we had talked about, or we had mentioned that there are two non-boxers as boulders, his trainer Angelo Dundee, and then right over here, people really think it's cool that he gave Bernie Pollock his own boulder.
Oh, wow, look at that.
When the visitors come and the school groups come to do their tour inside the chalet here, there's a video that they watch, and then there's also a collection of photos of Ali later on in life, post 2000, at different events and different functions, and those photos are from the collection of Jeff Julian, staff member of the camp here.
Wow.
So this is where his family would stay. It has been opened up to, when Ollie was here, there were 2 rooms in here. Well, actually, there were 3 rooms. There was a living room set up, there was a kitchen over here, and then there was a bathroom set up here. And then upstairs, there were 2 bedrooms. But here are the photos of Muhammad Ali later on in life, and you can see him with different people who are very important to him. Here is Angelo Dundee, his trainer. They kept having a great relationship later on in life. Another picture of Angelo. Here is his widow Lonnie, who married. They married in the mid 80s, and they were together until Ollie's passing in 2016. So Ollie and Lonnie, different events, different functions. Here is his best friend Howard Bingham, who is a well-known photographer, traveled with Ollie all around the world for many years, for decades actually. And then this here is his brother, Rudy or Rockman. Collection of magazine covers here, Ring Magazine. Ollie was on many different magazine covers. There is a collection of Sports Illustrated magazines in the gym. Ollie was on about 40 different Sports Illustrated magazines.
Boy, that's a brag.
That is, yeah, that's kind of unheard of. Over here is Muhammad Ali and his wife at the time, Belinda, and their children. Something interesting that happened, I had mentioned the twin daughters that came and visited, and there are the 2 twins, and they were just kind of so thrilled, blown away to see this picture, because they're standing right at the door we just walked through. And then this is Maymay, who has been here a couple times over the last year. And then Muhammad Ali is holding Muhammad Ali Jr. in this photo. So it's Muhammad Ali, Belinda, and their 4 children. This here is an enlarged copy of a handwritten poem by Muhammad Ali that was found by Jeff Julian and enlarged. It kind of tells the story of Muhammad Ali early on. I don't know how many people, a lot of people are surprised at how Ali took up boxing or got into boxing. It wasn't something that he just liked and was interested in. He had his bike stolen. When he was 12 years old, he had a bike stolen, and he wanted to find the person that stole his bike. So he was kind of revved up and angry and upset like we'd all be, and he wanted to find the person and take care of business. And what happened was he ran into a police officer, Joe Martin, who was also involved with a boxing gym. And Joe says to Ali, hey, how about we get to the gym and kind of work on things? And Muhammad Ali went into the gym with police officer Joe Martin, and as they say, the rest is history.
That's so crazy. So if his bike was never stolen, in theory, Muhammad Ali doesn't exist.
Correct. If he doesn't have his little red bicycle stolen.
That's wild. Talk about changing history.
Yeah.
Wow. This is the exclusive tour, right?
Yeah, this takes you to the second floor of the chalet, or the family living quarters. then from the second floor, we will go out onto a balcony.
Wow. Look at this. Oh. And the fact that it's an A-frame is really cool.
And then behind us here, or over here, this is the barn and the stable. The Pollock family was a horse riding family, and then Muhammad Ali did take to horses and riding horses while he was here, and he eventually buys that stable from the Pollock family. But what we use, there's a good comparison of before and after. So nothing's been done to the side of the barn. And that's how the gym and the kitchen and the other log cabins look. So the difference is now the bark has been stripped off and there's a different material between the logs. But back in 2016 when the camp was purchased, that's the kind of shape that all the buildings were in. So it was a remarkable process. And the restorations were done by an Amish company, an Amish organization from up in central PA, Watsontown, PA, called Doolittle Construction.
And then that's the mosque over there, right? Yeah. Wow, look at that. And the opening sign. It's going to say open for the season soon, right?
Yep.
I told everybody around April.
May.
May? All right, we'll do May.
The first Saturday of May.
All right. Sweet.
It should have a the in there. When I had it made, it's closed for the season.
It's fine. I get it.
So we're going to take a walk over to the other side of the road, and on the other side of the road, the camp. When I say road, this road is Scopes Hill Road, but over here are 8 individual cabins where his staff and overnight guests would stay. There's also a larger cabin up top which started out as a rec room and an office area. They had pinball machines in there and a pool table. And then later on in the 70s he did turn it into a residence that he would stay up there. And then the last building of the camp is the white building, which is the mosque. And we're going to be headed over to the mosque right now.
All right.
When people come in here in the mosque, they watch a video. It's about a 4-minute video where he's asked this question.
I'd like to know what you're going to do when you retire from boxing.
I really don't know. I want to say something right here. This might make you all think. Life is not really long. Let's say the average person is 30 years old. If you're 30 years old, you are not but about 7 years old. How can I prove it? Add up all the 7, 8, 9 hours you slept for 30 years. Out of 30 years, out of all the nights, last night when you went to bed and woke up this morning, you don't remember a thing.
Muhammad Ali was a very spiritual guy, and he believed when he passed he was going to be judged based on the life that he lived, that he would have to answer to someone. And in that video he talks about training boxers, going into business, that's not going to get him to heaven. That's his exact words. And he talks about how we treat others, and he mentions about sleeping like he did there. For example, if someone sleeps 8 hours a day throughout the course of their life, they're sleeping a third of their life. So what do they do with that other 2/3 of their life? And it's a pretty deep, meaningful video about life.
Yeah.
And gives you a different look of Muhammad Ali, not that loudmouth, cocky guy that we all saw on
Not
TV.
the fighter.
Not the fighter, and not the showman, and not the kind of getting the tickets sold. But it's really cool when kids walk out the door after seeing that video and say, wow. And that's kind of one of the special things about being able to give tours to kids and youth today. But as we are here in the mosque, one thing we do is we remove our shoes upon entering, showing respect. And then on the walls, there's a few photos of Muhammad Ali, one of them visiting later on in life. And this is from 1991. He was here for a book tour. And he had a group of people here. And again, that's him later on in life in the building where we are now. Huh. Over here is a photo of Muhammad Ali during one of his training sessions. And he is literally praying from about right where I am, because if you notice, the baseboard heater was longer back then. You can see how it extends past this baseboard heater. When they're in here praying facing east, praying towards the holy city of Mecca, on prayer rugs, that's why we remove our shoes when we come in. We don't want to be dirtying up the carpet.
Right now we are back in the gym just checking out some of these Sports Illustrated and the ring, which I think is really, really cool. Wow, look at that little stool. That's so cool, dude. Well, I feel better now. All right, what are we checking out next? All right. This is pretty cool. Beds and everything. Ooh, a lunchbox.
Yeah, so part of the camp, which is about 6 acres altogether, an area, are 8 of these cabins that have been remodeled with new flooring, a new bathroom, a little kitchenette area, but some of the old, the paneling walls, the ceiling, the drop ceiling. But then in the cabins there are different types of Muhammad Ali memorabilia that again was donated by Joe Bassio, who was a big fan, or who is a big fan. Joe's a big fan who comes up here and helps us on weekends when he can with tours. He's from down in the Fairless Hills area, but all kinds of different Muhammad Ali memorabilia, from figurines to those that are actual puzzles.
Well, Muhammad Ali again. Here he is.
Muhammad Ali is back.
It's really me not shutting the door.
See us all the time. So the cabins are all set up similarly. They have 2 beds. Currently, if somebody is interested to make this a destination and to stay at the camp, they can find it on Airbnb, listed as the Muhammad Ali Training Camp Experience. It's not a full-fledged operation yet, but if anybody's interested, they can go on there.
That's pretty cool.
Airbnb. Yeah. So we've been getting interest, and when the spring rolls around and the summer rolls around, we're expecting to have some people staying over and spending some time at the camp. They not only would be staying in the cabin, but they would have access to the camp. You know, there's the beautiful fireplace out in the courtyard where people like to hang out, get a fire going. There's also a grill if they'd like to cook in the kitchen and make their own personal private meal.
I might have to consider that.
So, and then the camp would be open, and they would be able to go in the gym at night and whatnot. So it's not just getting an Airbnb where you would sleep and shower. You also would be able to spend the night and take in all of what was Muhammad Ali's training camp.
That's really, really cool. I mean, that's one of the things I didn't even know. Hey, thanks so much for giving me this tour. I really, really appreciate it. I'm leaving knowing a lot more about Muhammad Ali. You know, being born in '94, I was born well past most of the stuff, the big stuff in his life. But this camp being here is really, really cool, and I really appreciate you giving me a tour.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
We appreciate you taking the time
absolutely.
to come up and check the camp out and help get the word out and promote the camp. We think it's a very, very interesting destination, and something that people should come and check out, whether they're a sports fan or not. There's something here for everybody. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I'm going to walk up this hill and check out that plaque, but thanks very much for the tour.
You got it. You have fun finishing up the rest of your visit.
All right. Man, this is such a nice area. I can't believe you can actually stay here, too. That's the added bonus. So we're going to walk up this hill. This is where his recreation room was. Pretty nice area, honestly. I could have driven up here, but I didn't want to. You know, I'm trying to be like Muhammad Ali, rough the elements, right? I mean, he never ate Arby's right before this video, right? Man, this is so beautiful. Sort of wishing I could float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Come on, man. Wow. Muhammad Ali, 3-time heavyweight champion of the world. Hey, look at that, a doghouse. Oh, I almost missed this. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Ali. Written by Drew Bundini Brown Jr., friend and trainer. Wow. I'm telling you guys, this is incredible out here. If you haven't come by, absolutely come by. It's so cool. There's really a sense of determination here, where he came out here to get away from it all, to practice, to train, to become the best, and he did that. And it's just cool that, you know, one of the greatest, even though he was from Louisville, he lives here still. I know we joked about the doors opening because I didn't know how to shut a door, but it's so cool to be here and visit this place. So I think you should absolutely come. The place is clean. The staff is super friendly. There's so much stuff if you really want to be informed. And, you know, that Airbnb thing is actually pretty cool. I might have to consider doing that. But this entire place is so awesome, and it's definitely worth a trip just to see how this legend lived, and also just get a feel of that greatness that he just walked around with all the time. Uh-oh, the wind's coming. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I guess we'll have to see where we're at next time. Bye.